Welcome back to The Next Film. Today I am with Wesley Wang. I'm just going to read a little intro. Feel free to correct me though if anything's incorrect. You're 21 now, right?
21, yes.
Okay, yes, but you're turning your birthday soon, right?
22, yeah, soon, yeah.
Okay. Are you a senior right now or a junior?
I am a senior, but I took a leave of absence this semester. So,
Oh, you
but
did?
I might come back. I don't know if
we'll dig into that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I have a
we
question
can.
about balancing a studio film in Harvard.
Okay, there you go.
But he is a 21-year-old writer-director attending Harvard for economics, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But he is best known for his short film, Nothing Except Everything, which is absolutely incredible. Go watch it now on YouTube, which he made during his senior year of high school. It went viral and now has over 9 million views on YouTube. And it sparked a 4-studio bidding war, which was ultimately picked up by Darren Aronofsky. Oscar winning, Oscar nominated. Did he?
I can't even keep.
I
keep
don't
track.
know, but there's the legend Darren Aronofsky, who's now producing the feature with Sony Tristar, and this made you the youngest director ever to have a movie set up at a studio, right?
Yeah,
Which is crazy.
as of my knowledge. But,
yeah, and then you were also named Forbes 30 under 30.
Yes.
In 2024.
Yep.
Yeah, so Wesley and I met in 2022, I believe, was the year that we both had a short together. I don't remember the name of the block, but at the Jim Thorpe Film Festival is when we met. Yeah, and
we met through a mutual, right? I think I don't exactly
yeah,
know.
our friend Jamie was she was there because her brother had a film at the festival as well. So yeah, we were all there. But in your short film Mute was there. I had a short called For the Gram.
Yes.
I feel like because I actually
which I loved. I vaguely remember it still, but it was really, really.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, and you've been acting in your own stuff for so long now. So
yeah, I don't mean to continue to do that. I just something. But anyways, I remember Mute was incredible, and also you were 17 at the time, I think, or 17 or
probably
18.
Something like.
I mean, with all of your work too, it's like it's already good, but then like especially like Nothing Except Everything, it's like it's an incredible short film. We're gonna dig into it, but then when you find out that like it was made by an 18-year-old, it's like, hold on, what?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's great that like. That's just like the cherry on top, right? It's already good to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so watching your journey since then, it's really, I mean, it's been so exciting, but it's just also exploded. Like,
thank you. Yeah, it's been crazy. But to your point, like, actually, I feel like it helps sometimes when I'm like, I'm like 18 or 19. Then they're like, oh, wait, this guy has potential or something like that, But I'm just like sitting there like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But I think it's cool.
You're
because
humble.
you get to also like be like, I spoke from a personal standpoint. I tried to make a film for this generation. So a lot of people, a lot of studios right now are trying to think about how can we reach Gen Z in this generation when they're all on like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So that's kind of how I've kind of approached it when I'm pitching around the film, basically.
No, I think that's so true, is that like a lot of times that's actually why like kind of bit that sparked my first feature was like so many studios or like these older, filmmakers are trying to make these teen films and it's like they don't really know anymore. And
I know.
But I mean, you're even more of a teen at that time. You were literally a senior in high school when you made about a senior in high school. So it's like no one knows better than, you right now with that voice. And it was so personal. And did you always think it was gonna like resonate with people like it does?
Not really. No, I kind of made it just wanting to make something I would want to watch and my friends would want to watch.
Nice.
And I think that kind of has been my way to make everything else after I saw the success of that, because I was just like, okay, wait, if I tell something that's true to myself, I feel like other people are going to find that resonating. And so
definitely.
Yeah. And so I had no idea. I just put it up on YouTube after like it went through its festival run, because that's like kind of what you usually do, right? For a home for it. And then, it just kind of took off organically on.
How
online.
long did it take to hit the viral? Like, when did it start to pick up, or what? Just like instantaneously?
I think it was around like first 2-3 days it just started picking up.
That's
so
crazy.
I just started realizing all of a sudden it got like a lot of views, and
I
kind of didn't know what to do, because like I was like, should I like how do I maximize this opportunity? But it kind of just came organically, and I've realized like since then, like if you try to force it, like try to like really, I don't know, do whatever, marketing or promotion, it almost takes away from like, your focus from like what's most important, which is like that's making something good.
Yeah, definitely. And then because I know that like you had talked about, I think in one interview, that in the festival route, you were having these like conversations with executives and stuff, and they were, they loved it, but they were like, let's talk after you graduate college.
Yeah, they were like, let's talk after you graduate college. Let's see what film festivals you get into. So it was a lot of like, like it almost helped me like validate that the film was good to like these executives, right? Because then it was like, okay, they see a lot of other people like it. So but yeah, I'd already begun pitching it as a feature, so I'd already saw that vision, but it wasn't. Yeah, I didn't obviously have success until the movie blew up.
Well, and that's what's crazy is that like they're kind of saying those things until like it goes viral on YouTube, and all of a sudden they all change their minds. And Darren Aronofsky's,
that's one of the most satisfying things when they're like someone like is like, nah, your film sucks, and then they're like, or they don't say that, but then like later on they're like
let's talk in a few years, and then Darren Aronofsky's like, let's talk right now.
Yeah, which was wild. Yeah,
wild. He just sent you an email, like out of the blue.
Yeah, kind of like that. I feel like that's what people think, but it was more so like my manager sent it to him or his production company, and this production company sent it to him.
Okay,
and then but yeah, he actually genuinely did.
I mean, the fact
that
he still that he watched it is amazing, and then loved it, and then and
then so he reached out and was like, and I didn't expect the email coming because my managers hadn't told me at the time because they were just sending it to whoever they thought might like it. And it was just happened so quickly where it's like, so yeah. And then we got on a call and he was really nice about it. And so, yeah.
You were in Harvard already at this time?
Yeah, I was a sophomore.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah. Wait, because you made it your senior year in high school, right? Yeah,
senior year of high school, and then put it around to film festivals like my freshman year, and then beginning of sophomore year, I released it. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Got it. I also want to like dig into the short film too, which we've actually not talked about any short films on this podcast yet.
Oh, okay.
But yours it feels like a real movie. I mean, it has like the whole arc. It has such an emotional impact. Like I'm obviously not in high school, but when I first saw it, and I just obviously recently watched it again too. And like both times just like touched me so like immensely. The editing's also so creative, like the pacing, the editing. Did you have any of that in mind, or were you kind of finding it in the editing room?
I would say, yeah, it was mostly stuff that I'd thought of in the script, and kind of like, I feel like I'm someone who likes to have everything planned out rather than like finding it on the way, because I just get like panicked. I'm like, no, I don't. And so, yeah, I'm kind of like very demanding in the editing room, and my editor will say that. But yeah, it's mostly just like me and John, who's my editor, just sitting in a room for like 12 hours a day. And I was just like telling him like each and every frame to like cut and everything, because it was a very particular like, rhythm to it. Yeah,
definitely. And did you already have that music planned as well?
Yes,
because that's I feel like
from day one. Yeah.
Really? Okay, yeah, because that's kind of a key part to that.
Yeah. I heard Tarantino said that once about like he listens to music to get inspiration. I think somewhat I do the same, but specifically when I'm like blocking out scenes in my head and when I'm writing, like I'm always thinking about. Yeah, the music.
No, I'm the same way, but sometimes it's a little dangerous because then you like get attached to a song that you can't.
And then you can't get it, and then you're.
Yeah, that happened with my feature where we like. I mean, it's fine. I actually did get a lot of the songs that I wanted, which is cool, and I found music that I wanted that I knew I could get prior to. So, and I'm doing that because I'm the same way. I write to a playlist. Like I have to have like a playlist that's in the tone and the vibe, and then.
And once you find something you like, do you reach out to them and before you shoot it?
Well, I am now because now that I've gone through it.
Yeah.
Did you?
I actually, I don't know if this is like, I've said this publicly, but I didn't actually get permission for the songs. And so everything that was made from the video, like the YouTube video, just goes to them.
Well, see, that's actually, I was going to say, that's not an issue though, because I guess
they get the benefits of it anyway. So
because YouTube allows you to do that. But if you were to like take a feature out in distribution, then it's like an issue because your distributor requires all this like legal stuff.
Yeah.
Like there was so much paperwork. Like I knew there would be paperwork, but there was even more.
You guys had a theatrical run, right?
We just did a couple theaters. Okay. Yeah.
But still, I'm assuming there's a lot of paperwork.
So we actually didn't sign a theatrical, like I kept the theatrical rights.
Oh, okay.
So like they didn't need all that type of paperwork, but like anytime I was licensing though the music, like I got both. Like it was tricky figuring it out because I ended up pretty much being like the music supervisor. But like long story short, because I ended up having like 17 original songs plus the score.
Okay.
And so I guess not original, but like like music.
Yeah. And you had a composer for that.
And I had a composer for like the score, but like for the 17 songs, for all the ones that like were like indie artists that I could reach out to, or like Ohio-based artists, I tried to use a lot of Ohio artists.
Yeah.
I would just negotiate like a certain price for like, you know, in perpetuity and like all the rights and stuff like that. So that way when we sell internationally, I didn't have to worry about it. But then like a lot of the bigger songs, when they were like, that is not, like when I would tell them how much money I have and they're like, that's not even close. I'd be like, okay, well, and then this is what I would end up negotiating was like, 10 years was the minimum that I had to do, and then North America, because that's what my distributor now wanted.
Gotcha.
So I'd be like, okay, so if I could just get like 10 years in North America, no theatrical, or maybe I might have not said that. I don't remember. But essentially that was like, and then when we sell internationally or this, that, and the other, I'll come back and have to pay you more money. And then most, like for the majority of, you know, the songs, they were okay with that. But Death Cab for Cutie was the one song I really wanted that we just could not get.
That seems like a hard song to get.
Yeah, they got back to me like a year later. But anyways,
usually goes like
did not mean to go off on a music tangent, but
no, I mean,
but the music was so key. So I think that was like, I think more than monetizing from YouTube. I think that was a smarter decision, to be honest. Because
I was lucky I didn't have that problem that you guys were trying to make it like way bigger. So I was just like, whatever, just put it up on YouTube. But
anyway, so when you were writing it too, like that whole like the arc and the way that it's like edited and things like that, the chapters, that was all. The
chapters actually wasn't. That was the last thing that was put in the film,
which I love too.
Yeah, I realized that it was like definitely a good decision in hindsight, obviously, but it's way easier to say now. But back then, I was like, I was very, very like unsure if it was the right move because my vision was without it, and it just was so chaotic, which is kind of the point. But then I was like, maybe I need some structure to it, and just to guide the viewer along a little bit more. But yeah.
What kind of got you to that decision in terms of?
It was just watching the cut before we wrapped picture lock and realizing that it just makes too little sense, right? Or just like kind of like the transitions are so abrupt, which they still are in the film, kind of, because they just like it's kind of like a stream of consciousness. But I feel like this almost gives us a second to process what just happened
100%.
in the last 3 minutes.
And I think it allows us to like, okay, so we just saw this chunk. Now I feel like it gives us like more permission to like lean into what you're telling us in this next chapter.
Kind of like a sprinkle of like what the summary of like what's coming next.
Were you testing it with like either the script or the rough cut or anything like that?
I didn't test it to other audiences, not that part, but I did test it like after I put those chapters in, and then just like I tested. So I did test the picture lock version and with a bunch of actually just like high school friends. And I feel like, because again, I was trying to make it for like me and them.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I feel like it resonates with people so much that I was just wondering if like you were getting feedback along the way.
Yeah, I did get feedback along the way, but a lot of it was kind of like, this is really good, but like I feel like only we're gonna like get it or something like that. I feel like a lot of other people, but I think the feedback was positive, and honestly from the start, like when I'd written the script, it was already people were saying like, or like just my friends honestly were saying like, you got to make this thing, like this is so you, Wesley. So I was that was what really gave me, as you said, permission to like just like really lean into it and try to actually make it happen, because like I write so much, but so little of it actually gets made, and so like it's just like, so deciding which ones to put a year or 2 years whatever into is like a hard decision.
No, for
sure. So sometimes you need that push.
Yeah, definitely that like little extra like validation or like just the you kind of already leaning that way subconsciously, but you don't really know it until someone else like reflects that for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then with like were you just, because there's so many like school scenes and extras and things like that, you just like were using all your friends in high school?
Well, the extras weren't, but some of them were actually. But most of them were just like off backstage. I don't know if you use backstage, but I just like posted a listing. It's pretty nice if you want to like.
Well, because were you in New York right at the time?
I was in New York, but I shot it in New Jersey actually.
Okay.
New Jersey, and I just like found a school, like they do a bunch of commercials and music videos and stuff. So I was like, they already had the structure of like how, a production can be filmed there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I did it. Yeah.
Nice. And then, because your actors are like pretty known, or at least like have like known credits.
Yeah, definitely at least the lead two, David and Lily. But those I actually reached out to on my own before I got everyone else.
Okay, I was wondering how that went about. Was that your first time on a short working with
like actors actors that, so... Yeah, that was probably the first time, and I told my producer that I wanted like some of these actors, and so we kind of just reached out to a bunch of them, and David and Lily I was just like spellbounded that they even replied in the first place.
Oh,
and
nice.
It was kind of, again, the same thing, like they did it because they were around the same age. At the time, they were like 20 or like 18 or something like that. And so it was, again, just like a passion project for them, really. Yeah.
I love that. And then you had talked about financing it with like chess lessons. And then you found other financiers too, which is impressive for being in high school.
Yeah, it was kind of just like begging like friends and family to just put in money to something that I knew wasn't, or they knew wasn't going to make money back. And it was just like kind of like a favor. But yeah, so like an Indiegogo campaign. But yeah, some of it was also through chess, which I kind of, I'd played chess, or not professionally, but like I wanted to go pro very competitively from like 11 or like 5 to like 15 basically. And so I, it was just chess lessons was my way to kind of, after school, I just like, teach some of the local kids, and there was a big chess community. So it was a good way just to supplement my filmmaking.
Yeah, that's incredible. And then you said that you started writing the feature when it was done, but did you always want it to be a feature or only after you wrapped it?
I had always like wanted to make it a feature, but honestly, like every short I do, I want it to be a feature. It's just that one kind of like was the one that was most successful. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try to make this into a feature. But yeah, so I'd already had some ideas, but I never wanted to get too attached.
Yeah. Well, because it was already having success on the festival route. Like you were winning awards and it got into some like good ones too, like the Heartland. The Indie Shorts is, I guess, what it's called. And then you finish your festival route, right? And then why did you decide to put it on your own YouTube instead of like, there's some like those short film?
Yeah, I think I reached out to all those short films.
Shut up, no way.
Or just like Omletto, or I don't know what they're
Right. There's a few of them. Like there's different websites too. There's some on YouTube, but then there's some that have like their own sites as well.
Yeah, like Short of the Week.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's just because like I grew up with YouTube, and I just feel like I'd watched a lot of other creators, and that's kind of what I'm working on now presently. We're just like trying to make film more of like or scripted content more of a thing on YouTube, because it's not really right now.
Yeah.
But I've just been growing up watching tons of creators and on YouTube and seeing what they make, and they're just putting it out on their own channels, and they have their own brand and community. And so I just felt like it was like, why not, have it associated with my own name.
And now it's so smart because now that's on your channel with over 9 million views.
Yeah, exactly. And now that's kind of, I'm realizing that even through the studio process, like I'm realizing what I love so much about filmmaking is, getting to make your stuff and put it out there on your own channel and have your own kind of community.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to have a distributor sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's something pretty empowering about that. So that's kind of what I'm working on now, to just like post more on my YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, because then you went on and made another short too.
Yes, on my YouTube channel as well. And now I'm making a bunch of different stuff for my YouTube channel.
I love that. Yeah. Well, because it's also like there's a lot of YouTube filmmakers right now, like having like are getting, into the studio system with like the guy who just made Obsession.
Yes.
Curry Baker.
Curry
I think,
Baker,
right?
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you know who Chris Stuckman, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Well, he did movie reviews. I don't think his own content, but then he went and made Shelby Oaks.
Exactly. Well, there you go. Yeah. And
in my hometown, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's actually like a lot of locations in Shelby Oaks that's in Escaping Ohio, and then locations I already have planned for my next film that we're shooting.
Oh, wow.
there.
Okay. So I guess
small town.
Great minds think alike. It was just. Yeah, I feel like the wave is crazy right now. Like Kane Parsons as well.
Right, yes, him as well. I was like, I know there was another one, the one who does the A24 movie.
Backrooms, which is getting so much hype now. And so I think
that was already like what he was doing on YouTube too, wasn't it? Like the backroom stuff?
A lot of backroom stuff and a lot of different things. And now we're actually represented by the same manager, which is super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just always been an idol to me and all these other YouTubers as well. And so I just realized I feel like a lot of these studios or distributors or financiers, they're seeing like the fact that you have a built-in audience and a brand already helps so much when you're like going into the studio system. So
100%. So did that short then kind of change how you were thinking about distribution for your work?
Yeah, for sure. I'd always felt like I wanted to be more like lean into more digital stuff than most filmmakers did. But I think that one kind of was just like, again, validated my feelings already.
Yeah, no, I think especially like right now, just like with the industry not really knowing, everything's kind of a mess. And like also like stars don't really like promise, like box office returns or that people are going to show up anymore. So like having your own audience and like being able to kind of self-distribute is like it's a whole lot of power.
It's almost like having, a big name actor in your film without having one, because you try to be your own big name in that sense. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. So you get, picked up by Darren Aronofsky and Tristar, but you're already at Harvard. So what are you doing now? You're just making a studio film while at Harvard?
Yeah. So
I know that was probably like what? 2 years ago.
So yeah, I worked on that for a year and a half, but actually like as of half a year ago, we actually aren't working with Sony anymore or Darren Aronofsky. So we took it out completely to make it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because, and that's kind of what has inspired my most recent like mission, I guess, of like, working on things that I get to self-distribute. It's because like I realized like there, with the studio system, it's so complicated and there's so much bureaucracy where it's like, there's a lot of creative differences basically, and you never know if your movie is going to get made because at the end of the day, it's at the hands of other people.
No, for sure.
And so that's kind of where I'm at now. But yeah, I had worked on that for quite a long time while I was in Harvard. Yeah. Writing it. Mostly.
Well, because I think I listened to one of your, I think most recent interviews or one of them with the high school film festival.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so at that time, I don't remember when that was, but at that time you were still working with it, I think.
Yeah.
So what did that look like? You were, making the script for them and getting notes and things like that?
Yeah, it was mostly making treatment for them and then a lot of notes, but there's a lot of contractual stuff before that. And so it was a long process, because you have to deal with the legal stuff and then you have to make a treatment.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of notes. And that's one thing I learned about it. It's just like tons and tons of rounds of notes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and it was kind of just like a very creatively kind of draining process where I was like, I wasn't really at the end, I wasn't really writing the movie I wanted to make. And so I think, it wasn't on like Sony or Darren at all because they were very supportive of it, but it was mostly of a thing of like, just like market realities of like, where Sony's at with like distributing other films as well. And so you kind of just have to accept that like sometimes, you're not going to get your movie made because, you're selling the rights at the end of the day. And so I kind of have tried to kind of reclaim that in my own way of like in the last few months where I'm like, okay, everything I'm making now, I want to be sure that I can make it just because I'm making it myself basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you putting that aside then, the feature adaptation?
Last year around I've been working on a different feature and then a bunch of other like TV shows that I'm distributing on YouTube. So,
oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next then in terms of like you have a specific thing, you're just kind of waiting for that gut feeling to tell you what's going to be?
No, I'm working on a bunch of things. There's one that's like a murder mystery project that it's first to solve the case wins $100,000 and it's going to be distributed on my channel. So it's kind of like an interactive true crime series, which is really fun. So I'm excited about that one. And again, that one is like cheaper. So again, it's just like, I'm just going to film it myself and just put it up myself. And yeah, again, like these things where it's like, you have no idea what's going to hit, because like you're kind of, and you don't know if you're going to make your money back at all. And then, yeah, a bunch of other different projects. One with Lionsgate actually. So Lionsgate, which is one of the few studios that are kind of trying these, like interesting distribution formats where it's like, they're basically giving us some amount of money to put, 6 episodes up on my YouTube channel.
Which is cool. Like, and so on your YouTube channel too?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, which is like kind of its first of its kind. And so, really excited about that one.
Oh, cool.
And then a bunch of other like fun, different ideas, but they're all kind of in different veins. And then one animated short film that I'm releasing in 2 months or so.
Cool.
That I've been starting to tease on my channel. So
yeah, I saw you post something. Yeah, well, because I was also, I had a question down somewhere because I was just interested. You had posted on your story that you wanted to, like, you just felt like you needed to make something. And so that's where like this animated short.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of, as I've been saying, like, I just really want to just start making stuff again. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, see, that's the way I feel like the balance always is, right? With like figuring out this industry is that like you want to be constantly making something, but also like things take time at the same time. So it's like figuring out like, okay, I could go the studio route, but then, there's no like reassurances that it will be made.
Yeah.
But if it does get made, then that's also a big thing as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and then there's also like, I've met, talked to other people who are balancing multiple things at the same time, but
it's kind of how you have to do it. I feel like.
Yeah. But at the same time too, like I definitely know that I need to focus on one project to make it the best I can.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've been doing with Candy. Like my next film is like just solely focusing on that. Obviously, I'm doing other things like the podcast and whatnot that can like, I guess that, supplement. And also like, I mean, really the podcast has been great, but like a lot of it too was like a little bit selfish of like, I want to talk to these people and ask them questions over coffee, but I might as well just record it and put out the conversations for other people.
Doesn't hurt, yeah.
But it's also like, you know, to help me on this journey of making my next film as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And so, yeah, do you find like, are you good at like burning a bunch of little fires, or do you like to?
Yeah, I feel like, especially if it's a studio process like the one I had, I love like just being able to have other things that I can work on, because I can't sit still sometimes, or I'm like, I need to be doing something, or else I feel like I'm, you know, not, you know, reaching my potential of like, you know, creative work. And so, definitely for me, I like to have a lot of things that are going, unless like something is like deep in like pre-production where it's like, okay, obviously then you have to put everything aside and then focus on that one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then how does this look with the Lionsgate deal? Because that's interesting that they're like having it go on your channel. Was there like less rounds of notes, or are they still having a say in that? Or
yeah, so it's less rounds of notes, and it's kind of it's a very interesting process where they're not giving us much money, but it's enough to like make something.
Yeah,
and so that's kind of all I needed. And so basically this idea came from me and Colin and Samir. I don't know if you know Colin and Samir. They also have a podcast actually. Very cool one. So. But we've just been talking about trying to make something, because they're like big on YouTube and film and YouTube, like kind of combining. And so we've been trying to talk about, you know, what they've been saying a lot of studios are interested in, you know, kind of finding filmmakers and trying to, you know, make stuff with them on YouTube. I mean, so basically we came to Lionsgate with an idea about this sci-fi thriller that's like Severance X Stranger Things. And then we have been pitching it to them. We pitched it to them last year, and now like finally, like after so long, still like, even though it's somewhat outside of the studio process, it's taken some time, but now we're like finally finishing the contract, and we'll be able to, you know, like get started on
it's funny how long contracts take, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
That's like the one thing I've really learned is like, I mean, it is worth it to level up, but like when you start having like more people and, you know, bigger people behind you and things like that, just like the contracts and the negotiations take so long.
Yeah, it's always a good balance. You need to, again, like you said, like have enough like institutional backing where you feel like you're supported, but you also, you know, need to like do things independently at the end of the day too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, I mean, is that kind of like, do you feel like your perspective on all of that has changed since having the feature at Sony and then needing to kind of like reroute?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what has inspired me to take a leave of absence of Harvard and kind of work on these different projects where it's like, you know, I'm kind of running my own company in a way now, and where all these films are like, you know, underneath the company and like all these different projects. And so, yeah, it definitely made me realize like I have to be my own. At the end of the day, like I can have a manager, I can have an agent, but like, you know, no one is gonna like help you as much as you're gonna help yourself. You know? And
that's honestly kind of a blessing, I think, and to learn it while you're still like so young and still have, you know, so much like.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people say that. They're like, you know, don't worry about it, Wesley. You're young, and it's good to learn this now.
Well, I mean, and that still happened, so it's still like it's incredible.
It's not, like everyone's on good terms. It's still like chill, but you know, it's obviously annoying to like put so much time into something, and you know. But I definitely I tried to, you know, take it with a grain of salt and leave with like a lesson.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's sometimes like the only way we can look at it is like, well, this is probably meant to be for some, like maybe I don't know why now, but like looking back, I'll probably have like a better understanding of why that all happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just hearing about your journey already about self-distributing and like getting other projects and stuff like that, I feel like that's a lot where this industry is headed.
Absolutely.
Right now. I mean, YouTube's also like the #1 streamer right now, and the Oscars are going to YouTube.
Like they like passed Netflix recently on like connected TVs, which is crazy because they're TVs. You would think people are watching like, you know, premium like shows and stuff. So definitely interesting.
Do you feel like you've had more pressure being like a little bit more like eyes on you type of I don't want to say like eyes are on you, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I know what you
have more of an audience now.
Yeah. I definitely, I don't know. It's been interesting like navigating that, because now it's like people are waiting for my next thing, and before I was kind of making whatever I wanted to make, and now it's like, you know, especially like a lot of my fans are like teens or people that want to see something similar to Nothing Except Everything, and honestly, like what I'm making now is very different from Nothing Except Everything, and so there's a bit of,
isn't.
Or it is different. Sorry,
it is different.
I don't know what I said, and so I'm always like kind of self-doubting myself, is like, oh, are my fans gonna like this? But yeah, you kind of, at the end of the day, again, you have to tell something that's personal to you.
Yeah, and make what you want to make 100%.
Yeah.
I do find that's the only thing that seems kind of tricky thus far with like social media and audience, and that is that like once you start to get known for something, people kind of want to see you in that same box.
Yeah.
Which I guess is kind of the studio as well, as putting people in boxes.
That's true.
But
how have you felt that in you know, your podcast journey of like, do you think you've been
well, I don't think I'm known enough to feel like I'm in a box, but I don't think I could I mean, I definitely like I got sent a teen movie, and I got sent a few different things after escaping Ohio. And out of the
I guess that's kind of what I was talking about, where it's like like the coming of age. Yeah, it's like you make a coming of age film and everyone's like, okay, here's some more coming of age projects. Yeah.
Right. But I kind of felt like I was very much in that like mindset when I made that movie, and now I feel
yeah, no, same. Absolutely. Like I'm not like a high schooler anymore, even though like I still feel those things, and it's just like like it's just different when you're like experiencing those things firsthand, you know?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm sure it's similar.
Yeah. And I mean, mine actually, my next one is 180 degrees.
Oh, yeah,
like
I was gonna say.
completely different too. But I don't feel like I've been, I don't know, like my audience isn't as big as yours, but I did just feel like more pressure, I think, in the script stage of I could just hear critics, I think, and like there's just like so many things with like comments and you know, like different like Letterboxd and Instagram and like all these things, and like I would start to like hear like voices that I don't know if are mine while I'm writing, and so it took some time to finally like tune those out. Like I think I barely went on social media during that time. I listened to Rick Rubin a lot, or like read his book, The Creative Act, and like really it was just like, okay, it doesn't matter. Like stop worrying about the outcome or the results, or like completely detaching from any like thing. It has to be like, even if it doesn't get made, whatever, just like make something good in this moment. Yeah. I feel like that was kind of like my North Star. Yeah,
I heard from something really resonated with me was like for the Brutalist director. It was Brady Corbet, I think his name is. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So he said something like, when I get positive comments about my work, I'm not even like affected anymore, because like, if you listen to those, you have to listen to all the negative ones too. And so I think that's something that's probably happened to me too, where it's like, I try to just make stuff, and like if people like it, cool. If people don't, then let's like, whatever. It's fine.
Again, nice lessons to learn like early on in the career.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then with the feature adaptation, I'm just curious too, because like you, again, were making the short version like so in that mindset. Did you find when you were having to revisit the feature, like did you feel differently about it?
Yeah, I think, definitely. Like I had to like just like rethink about, all the memories I had in high school, and like try to revisit that time. But yeah, I tried to like also put still myself in college, and I'm acting like it was like 5 years or like 10 years
like 1 year ago,
3 years. But yeah, it was definitely like, you have to try to constantly find, something, your inspiration. But yeah, sometimes I'll get opportunities that like for like, whatever, Nothing Except Everything, or a different, film or something like that, or adapting a script that it's like I'm not initially that passionate about, but it's because it's such a good opportunity because of some things, like I'll try to, again, like find that passion, but it's really difficult, I've found, to like manufacture passion.
100%.
So
yeah, I've kind of had to go, at least with like directing. If anytime like I don't feel like hell yeah about it, then I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Because especially with directing, you put so many years into it.
Yeah.
So if it's like I'm not like 100% into it, then it's just like I know that I'm not going to want to do this in 2 years when I'm tired. And
For sure.
So it's better if someone who's more passionate about it does it too.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
For both of us.
Yeah. It's something that I'm still trying to learn, for sure.
Really?
To do.
Yeah. Well, when did you get your reps? Because you are repped with big ones now. WME and 3 Arts, right?
It was kind of all that same, like those flurry of a few months after my film came out in 2023 in September on YouTube.
On the YouTube, okay.
Yeah, and then my managers reached out, and then Darren Aronofsky reached out because my manager sent it to him. They weren't my managers until like that whole thing happened. Then I was like, okay, I have to kind of sign with them now, I feel like.
They were like, what's it called again when you're like kind of with them, or like it's like, oh, there's a term.
Yeah, there is a term.
I'll look it up.
Right?
It doesn't matter. So once you got like Darren interested. They were like, okay, sign with us.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It wasn't really like that, but it was kind of implied that it's like, or it was kind of a no-brainer for me, honestly, to sign with them at that point.
For sure. I mean, and if they're sending your work around and getting
it was
people
mostly that.
like
I just
Darren
felt
to
like,
respond.
Yeah, I just felt like they were doing a lot. I could already tell.
And they believed in you clearly if they're sending it out like that too.
For sure. And yeah, there still are like that even 2-3 years afterwards, which is really, really cool to see. And then my agent came on board after that. And then, it was kind of just, I think so WME came on board after that because my agent is with them. And so, it was really cool.
And then are they helping you figure out a lot of these opportunities too then?
I would say a good amount. I'd say my manager's even more like side by side with me. I'd say my agent is more like for like, when a deal is getting close to being, signed or it's more of a studio deal. But yeah, my managers are more like, let's work on these indie projects together, like more ground up, which is cool to have that balance. So,
Cool. Yeah. And then I also saw you were part of the Square Peg social. Yeah, that's what it was called,
you've
right?
been seeing a lot of these things.
Well, I had applied to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would love to recommend you. But I don't know if they're probably doing it again.
But I remember... Cool, because I also was looking into this one producer, Alex Orlovsky, who I would love to work with in the future. And I just think his work is incredible, like what he produces.
He's incredible.
Yeah, and then I went to a screening of Roofman, and it was with him and his other two producer partners who, just hearing them talk about how much they love it and like what they go through to get movies made, like they are just incredible producers. And I'm like, those are the type of people I would love to work with.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I always need to produce my work. I have so far. I don't know if I always need to do that in the future if I have people like that, Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
But anyway, so I read, I think it was in IndieWire, him, like because I was like, oh, they're finally talking publicly about the social or whatever it was called, Ari Aster's thing. And then he talked about you. I was like, oh my God, of course no Wesley got to this. That's so cool.
Oh, wow. Okay. I
didn't even see that?
No, I didn't. I have to.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He talked about you and one other person, but he was like, I met this Wesley Wang kid, and he's like at Harvard, and he's making this incredible short, nice. And then he has to go back to school.
Yeah.
He said something really nice about you.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's I've been talking back and forth with him a bit of just like asking him advice and stuff, and he's the sweetest, and would definitely recommend getting in touch with him. I can also send him a message too, but yeah. He's really cool, and just honestly, that whole group, Square Peg, was just such a cool event.
What was that experience like?
It was crazy, like getting to see Ari so up close and talk about his work really like intimately. Honestly, it was like a lot of things he was saying about his work, which he honestly wouldn't say like just publicly as well. And obviously, a lot of the A24 bunch was there, and a lot of producers who've worked with A24 were there, and so. It was just seeing like a lot of people really interested in indie film in the same place, and just like having, a ton of passion for, making stuff. And as you said, like the difficulties of making some of these things in this kind of market. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm curious to hear about the people who are like in between the studios, who are like, kind of like Ari, who's obviously he's making things with A24 multiple times, but other filmmakers who kind of like bounce around and not like the big studios, but working with like Neon, A24, like these.
Yeah, I'd say Neon and A24 are getting up there though. But
for sure. But like, or I guess there's other smaller studios I can't think of. But I guess a lot of those are like on the back end, like Utopia, things like that. But I do wonder if they find the same kind of politics and back and forth and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone's trying to be like the next A24 because they came from like an independent place so much, and now they're scaling so much. So yeah, I think it's really tough, because there can only be so many.
Yeah. I mean, I just had a guest on who we were kind of talking about the who's making a Netflix original, and she was saying too.
Oh yeah, Leah.
How it just feels like a lottery ticket these days. And so she also, when people come to her for advice about making a studio film, she's like, I don't really know what to say. It
does feel like that. Even with my film, like, I had to go through that whole YouTube algorithm first, and that's always feels like a lottery ticket as well. I think all of these things kind of feel that way sometimes.
Yeah. But I mean, again, like even just having the deal and having a 4 studio bidding war.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And that's like career defining. Like no matter what happened with that, at Sony and stuff like that.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Like that's truly an accomplishment that like, I mean, again, like what did I say? Like you're the youngest director to
Thank you. Yeah.
have had a deal at a studio.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Do you feel like you like would want to go back to a studio, or do you just felt like that was
Yeah, no, I think it's just, for sure. I think now I've kind of like armed with more knowledge of like how to approach that process. I'd say I'd put a lot less blood, sweat, and tears into it until I knew it was getting made. And so I'd probably, I'd definitely be down to do stuff. I already am kind of in talks with a lot of other studios to do other feature films. So it's just a matter of like, you know, kind of making sure that your partners like, or the people that are going to greenlight your film are like very committed to that. And having like quicker turnarounds as well. And so, just a lot of things that I've like kind of learned. A lot of like
learning.
Approach it.
Any advice to someone who might be navigating that for the first time? Yeah,
I'd say, kind of like what I was saying of like, you know, don't like, if you get that studio deal, it's very easy, at least for me, when I was like super excited. I was like, this is going to change my whole life. This is like, you know, going to be everything. I should put everything down to work on that. I would say again, like always have like, you know, a B plan or like something else that you're working on as well. Because, you know, the studios you're working with, they have like hundreds of filmmakers that they can, you know, greenlight at any moment. You know, you don't want to have one studio that's going to control your future. So you kind of want to, you know, diversify as much as possible. As well.
Do you still have the rights to your film though?
Yes. So I can get it back at any time and shop it around. And it's just, I haven't been shopping around just because of other stuff that I'm working on that has just been taking up time. But yeah.
And then you're maybe feeling more passionate about, or?
Well, hopefully. No, I think if I go into it with that kind of mindset, I think I'll find something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, I'm really interested to watch your journey, and especially like the self-distribution route. I mean, I've been thinking about that too. Like even I had these brothers on who are podcast hosts, and that even like, you know, they're able to now like make films with this audience behind them just from having a film podcast.
For sure. Yeah.
And I've just been thinking a lot about like building your own audience and trying to make your own work essentially.
I really do think it's more important than ever in the film industry, because like, you know, I think it's becoming more saturated than ever, and it's just like people have so many choices, and you kind of just have to like, you know, at the end of the day have like a lot of value in your own brand and work. You know, so yeah, I'm
thinking about like strategic marketing, like, you know, ways to get it out there, ways to stand out in the noise. But I mean, again, that wasn't really a thing with your short though, right? It was just like you uploaded it and just
I mean, I had some like Instagram reels and TikTok reels that blew up, but it wasn't a thing of like, I wouldn't say I was that like mastermind about it. I honestly just posted the TikTok, trailer.
Again, which is so cool that happened.
Yeah. So
and then you did have like your actors have a following too.
Yeah. Right? So that I asked them to post it as well, and so it was kind of, but it's not. I wouldn't say it was anything groundbreaking. There's no like tips and tricks that will like you know get your stuff to blow up. It's kind of just being consistent, posting, and you know all the rest of it.
Yeah. I do think having your cast post about it also helps though, because that's something that like I didn't think about with my first feature, which it's like hopefully, you know, they also love it and want to post about it and share about it, but like when people aren't like don't have a contract that they have to you know promote or anything like that, then you're just kind of taking like, hopefully they'll talk about it, but I do feel like hearing like as I'm deeper into the industry, I just hearing more about that actually is something put in like the contracts and like sometimes even additional pay of like how much they're supposed to promote it or, you know, put it out there and things like that.
Yeah, I was really lucky. I actually, Lily and David were just so kind to just, you know, because they liked it, probably, and they're just like, you know, but yeah, I think in the future, it's probably good for me when I'm working with like studios and more things that are like
they're probably already putting that in all in their contracts anyways.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, and that's actually something too that like into this next feature that I'm thinking about is like marketing budget in general. Because like I found with Escaping Ohio, I had all these ideas that I really wanted to do and I felt like would have helped with visibility, but then we just didn't have a marketing budget because all of it went into the film, which is also, you know, a good thing. But it's like you only have so much money and you want to pay people
for sure.
Get the film finished.
Yeah, I think all these successful films, most of them at least, have like a huge marketing budget. I'd say. I mean, people say it's like half of like the budget in total. So
I think or at least like studio wise, like even just having something set aside too. But I actually had another filmmaker on here too, where he had mentioned that he wished, even though they had a distributor and they marketed it, he wished they had more set aside to help, like, you know, do the marketing efforts with them and put it out there more. So a lot of lessons learned.
Yeah, definitely a lot of lessons.
So one question I ask all my guests is, what advice would you give to someone making their next film?
Oh, geez. After all we talked about, I feel like there's so much.
Feel free to spew it out, or if you want to, give advice to a short film and a feature film.
Yeah, I feel like with shorts, I think the landscape is changing so much where it's like there's less, they're kind of more blurred now. It's like, with my short, like it was probably as successful as a lot of people's first features. And so it's like, I'd say the most important thing I'd say is to make stuff that you're really passionate about and have like, a very specific voice and style to your work and be unabashed about that. And make sure to, have that known and have people that you, and have the people that like your voice and your style to become your fans that will help you, in your journey. And so that's very broad, but I'd say intentionally so, because it's just like, it's really hard to give like very specific advice, I'd say, in like, this landscape where it's like, it's always changing. You never know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then just one more question for you in terms of your Harvard studying, because you went not with filmmaking, right? You went with economics.
Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of one of those things where it's just like I'd made a ton of shorts in high school, and I felt like that was my film school, as Tarantino again said. I'm not specifically quoting him because he's like my idol or whatever, but it's just like a lot of good advice. But yeah, and so I'd made a lot of films then, and so it was like I felt like a lot of the degree of film at Harvard wasn't really as useful as it would be for a lot of other people. And so I kind of was just like, let me learn more about the world and
nice.
Other stuff. And I think that also helped because I got to meet people I wouldn't have met. So yeah.
Do you feel like you can use any of that in terms of like making your own film business almost?
Some of the classes, but not like most of the classes, honestly, is like very theoretical economics. Okay. It's like macroeconomics, like inflation. Like I'm not going to be working on that, like making films. So, but there were some startup classes that I took that were definitely helpful. And so it's very similar, I'd say, like, getting a film made and the startup business. So, yeah.
I just, again, going back to like the industry and the landscape and changing, I feel like I almost wish I had a business degree or like some sort of like, because you do have to think about, I think, our careers in your film in general as like a startup or as like a whole business that you're taking on. And like, I think it's just as important to know all of that as it is to know the creative side and to be equally like learning and interested. So I was just curious if any of that was overlapping or not.
No,
not the economics, no.
But I'd say like, those business things, again, you just learn it through the process, like by doing it. I'd say that's kind of mostly how I learned to distribute my own work. But I'd say the Harvard degree still definitely helped in terms of like, just like getting access.
Also maybe some of the connections you make, they'll go on to do things and maybe they'll want to invest in your films.
That's true.
And then you can get independent financing.
Yeah.
Make things in your own voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, long term. I lied. There was one other question that I went, oh yes.
For sure, yeah.
The Forbes 30 under 30.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But where did that all come out of?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I think to get onto Forbes, you have to like apply, and then you have to have 3 people who are on the list nominate you. And so I asked a few people that I knew were on the list to nominate me.
Wow.
And then I just got in luckily. And so it's really cool.
Well, because I didn't know that until I was like preparing for the interview and like getting your bio. And then I go to the website and it's like literally you and Catherine Newton are like the top 2 people named.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's so cool.
Yeah, like my dad is like, he doesn't even know anything that's going on in my film industry, or he kind of does, but he the most thing he's proud of and he tells all his friends is like, my son is on Forbes,
Yeah. Well, I remember your mom was there at the Jim Thorpe Festival and she was
I think they were both there. Yeah.
Were they both? Okay.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I specifically remember your mom because she was so sweet and supportive and was taking pictures.
Yeah, she loves taking pictures. Yeah.
I know. I think we have a picture together somewhere.
Probably. Yeah, I can probably fetch it if you want.
But that's funny. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here. Any last thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I mean, thank you for having me here. Obviously,
it
was a pleasure. And it's a lot of things we talked about are super relevant. And so it gives me thinking even. So I really appreciate it again. And good luck with your journey as well, of course.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking time out of your short LA trip to be here.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to watching your journey from afar.
Thanks.
Well, hopefully you'll be here in LA soon. Do you see LA being in your near future? Or?
Maybe. I mean, definitely I'll be taking trips here a lot, but I don't know if I'll be living here. I think it's again, the changes of the industry have made it so easy where you can kind of, live wherever. And if you have to shoot here, obviously that's a different story. But, like kind of write and take meetings from somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. If you're enjoying the next film and want to help us keep making the show, we're now accepting tax-deductible donations through our partner, the Alliance of Women Directors. This helps us keep sharing honest conversation, insights, and practical tools free and accessible to artists. The link is in the show notes, or you can visit allianceofwomendirectors.org/fiscal-sponsorship. This episode is brought to you by executive producer Jeffrey Weber.